Hello. So this is the explanation of the first major assignment for our course called the Prior Writing Experiences essay. This is going to be worth 12.5% of your final grade, and it will be due September 22nd, which is a Monday at midnight. The learning goals for this assignment is to gain a deeper understanding of your past and present experience with writing and how they inform your tutoring practices today. This will help you generate ideas for your later major assignment, the tutoring philosophy, which we'll do towards the end of the semester. To create a multimodal essay using Adobe Express tools, your students are probably going to be bringing in similar texts to the Writing Center. So I think gaining familiarity with some of those tools will help you help them. And then finally, practicing communicating concepts through modes other than alphabetic text. And what I mean by alphabetic text is words and letters on the page, basically. So exactly what it sounds like. In terms of an overview / the context for this assignment, Andrea Lunsford, in the book Naming What We Know, Threshold Concepts of Writing Studies, states that even when writing is private or meant for the writer alone, it is shaped by the writer's earlier interactions with writing and with other people, and with all the writer has read and learned. In other words, we are all shaped by and are continuing to be shaped by our past experiences with reading and writing, and these experiences also inform how you approach tutoring in the Writing Center. A caveat here, this might sound like a familiar genre to those of you who have done some teaching, specifically the literacy narrative, which is a really popular assignment specifically in first year writing, for example. But few of us have had the opportunity to do this kind of reflection as teachers or tutors ourselves. And so I thought it would be a really helpful kind of beginning major assignment for you to start thinking about who you are as a tutor, what your writing past is, and how it kind of informs the way that you tutor today. So your task is to compose a short and reflective multimodal essay on your prior experiences with reading and writing and how those learning experiences inform your tutoring practices today. You already did some brainstorming in a homework assignment for this. That was for week 2. So feel free to draw on those ideas in your essay. You can pull right from those. You can copy and paste some of it in there. It's totally fine with me. To help you generate content for your essay, you may want to consider the following questions. You don't have to answer all these questions or any of these questions. This was just to help you brainstorm. What are some notable memories or anecdotes you have about learning to write or honing your writing ability? What have been your favorite kinds of writing and reading in the past? Have you had any struggles with writing? If so, what were those? And then you can think about it on the other side. Have you had any really triumphant moments with writing in the past, and what were those? Who were your writing mentors? So your parents, teachers, peers. Where do you think your feelings about writing or writing habits come from? In terms of writing habits, how you write, where you write, do you have a system that works, that kind of thing. What have been some writing wins for you? So times when you wrote something and it worked really well and you were really proud of it. Or what technologies impact you as a writer? Technologies can mean a lot of different things. So writing on the page is a technology, using a computer is a technology, using your phone to compose is a technology. Where, when, and why did you start using them? So again, those are just questions to help you generate content. In your reflective essay, you will then need to discuss how those prior experiences with writing inform how you approach your tutoring today. And these are just some questions to help you think about that. Have these experiences made you choose certain pedagogical approaches over others because you know from your own experience what might work? Have your prior experiences made helping someone else with their writing complicated or maybe nuanced in particular ways? Okay, you can incorporate in your essay excerpts from our course readings if you want. You're welcome to do that as long as you cite them in text and in a works cited or references section at the bottom of your web page. You can use APA or MLA for that. I don't care which. In terms of your audience, you are writing this to your peers and obviously also to me. In terms of genre, it's a short reflective essay, which means it's a bit less formal than the other types of writing we'll do in this class. For instance, the later research project that you'll do in this course. If you want to just write your reflection in a traditional format, so introduction, support paragraphs, conclusion. You can do that. But you can also go with a more creative structure if you want. That's fine with me too. That being said, because this is going to be a web page incorporating different mediums, so images, photos, embedded videos, design elements, etc., you'll want to think about how to structure your essay so your readers are encountering the information in the order and method that you want them to. So think about structure in terms of how web pages are structured. What multimodal elements should you include in your essay? That's up to you, but you have a lot of choices. Since you're writing about your experiences, it would make sense to include photos of yourself, maybe your mentors, past schools you've attended, images of your hometown, things having to do with you. It would just make sense thematically. You can also embed any YouTube videos you find that are relevant. Adobe Express also has an AI function to create art called Firefly if you want to use it to create images, but you do not have to. Okay, the good thing about Adobe's AI is they gather their image data from Adobe's licensed images and images that are freely available online. They never take from licensed content that isn't theirs. But I know that these things are complicated and people have ethical issues with that. So if you're feeling squirrely, just skip that feature and just use your own found media. So your own photos, things you find online, etc. What are the length requirements? Your essay should be at least 800 words of your own alphabetic text, so your own writing, not including a references or works cited section if you have one. So those are the details. I will have another video after this walking you through the basic functions of the Adobe Express web page feature. Spoiler, it is incredibly easy. It's so user-friendly, you won't even believe it. So I will walk you through that. And if you have any questions about this assignment, please let me know. I'm happy to help or sit down with you and talk about your ideas or do a virtual office hour appointment.